All right. Well, I'm very excited about this episode of Beyond the Claim. That's right. That is the new name of the show, but it's called Beyond the Claim. And the reason why is, quite frankly, I want to go beyond the claim. I'm an insurance adjuster. I'm a public adjuster. It's what I kind of do full time, but it's time to expand my reach here, Zulfia. It's time to go next level. All right. Like our coach always tells us, like it's time to expand and I really want to start targeting more, not just public adjusters, but I want to start targeting entrepreneurs, business people, people who feel stuck, and just really trying to find different tricks and trades that they could use in their business, in their life, whether leadership mindset or like we're going to talk about today, AI, to really transform their business because ultimately it's going to also transform their life. So I'm very excited to have on the show today Zulfiya Forsythe. She is the CEO and founder of Omadly Group. Zulfiya, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Vince. This is a
No,
pleasure. Thank you.
no, I mean, honestly, I'm sure you are on a lot of different shows now and speaking to a lot of different people because AI is definitely the trend. I will tell you, you are on your way because AI agencies and people who help and assist other businesses incorporating AI into their business, into their company, into their lives. This is the trend. It's just straight up right now, you know? So you're going to do well. I'm going to
Thank you.
tell you, your life's going to look much different in 5 years. I know that for sure. But tell me a little bit about yourself, Zulfiya, and tell me what you're all about, and let's get this thing going.
Absolutely. So I'm a CEO and founder of Omadly Group, data analytics and AI solutions company. We've been doing business since COVID, actually. I started my journey as just a freelancer after being laid off and kind of started helping clients. Now we do this every day. And AI is definitely something we help clients a lot of because there's a lot of questions right now that comes from just our clients or people in general. It's like, oh, every time there's a new thing, every week there's a new model that pops up, new feature that pops up. Like, what do we do? How do we onboard? What's the best tools? So it's overwhelming even for me being on the forefront of it. But I can imagine how overwhelming it would be for somebody who's non-technical, someone that's not working with AI on a technical or daily basis, like deeply as I am.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do have a question. What you mentioned in the show notes that AI is only as good as its user.
Yeah.
What are some key skills or mindsets that people need to develop in order to really truly leverage AI?
Absolutely. I think so. If anyone looked at the World Economic Forum, they released jobs for 2025 to 2030. So 5 years where they predicting jobs would be. And they also predicted top declining jobs versus top most in demand jobs. And then also how the industries are going to be augmented and what industries are prone to be to augmentation the most. And obviously the jobs that are evolved around knowledge workers, someone like me, for example, that sits at the computer and does everything around the computer would be more augmented than the others because it's so much easier for computer to mimic our clicking through one system to another system, dropping, retrieving, pulling some type of a report, some type of a data that we analyze, and then we send it out to email, or we also put it in some type of format, let's say, and then send it out that we communicate upon. So all of these things are traceable. So if there is a clear workflow that could be defined for each role, that is more susceptible to augmentation. But what do we do as humans, right? Where do we come in? Well, guess what? AI is good as its user. What I mean by that is if we don't have a domain expertise knowledge, if we don't have analytical skills, even right now, you can go utilize ChatGPT for free. But if you don't know what to ask from it, it's just going to give you it's a statistical model, basically. That's what it is. So every time you ask about, for example, oh, I want to know about podcast. Okay, well, then on the back end, it's going to go crawl through the vast amount of data and will give you another probable word associated with podcasts. So you can get very general scratch on the surface or very robotic response back. But if you have domain expertise, if you're evolving, if you in your industry, if you're constantly growing and have that critical thinking of you trying to solve one particular problem, and your prompt could be very insightful, meaning not just one sentence, like you know what problem you're trying to solve and formulate that very well, you can get very good responses. So the way I see this AI is again, AI is nothing without creativity. So I've been reading and listening to a lot of experts in the fields of what AI could really do for the workforce. And one of the biggest things is, again, we have to develop analytical skills, critical thinking skills. Those are top skills on the job report. Creative thinking skills, problem solving skills, and communication skills. So basically, the future is you need to learn how to communicate with this tool, but you only know how to communicate if you have that experience, that industry experience, or if you're evolving in your job as well.
Or you just got to buy in.
Yeah, you also, yes, you also have to buy in, but
I mean, I mean, I think that's the big one is you got to get on board. You know, I know that
100%.
our group here, we talk a lot about fears and different things that people have, and it's a limiting belief. It's limitations that they put on themselves. And I think with people who work in the administrative field, who are admins and assistants and all that, I think a lot of them, they think very limited and are probably afraid that AI is going to take their job. And just honestly, I think just a simple reason why they're in a job like that, let's say making 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year, and they're just happy with their paycheck. I just had a conversation with the previous guest that, you know, people clock in, clock out, and that's it. You know, I think it's important for your staff, my staff, and our staff to understand that AI is here. And what's going to happen is if, like Dan says, is that if you don't hop on board and figure out a way to use it to benefit your job and make you better at your job, to make you ultimately more valuable to me, then you're not going anywhere. But if you don't use it, if you're against it, and I know from experience, I have a couple admins that are just like, yeah, I don't see a point. What's the point? I don't like it. I don't like it. Why do I type up a prompt? I might as well just type up my email. I'm asking it for an email when I can just type it up myself. And I'm trying to get them to buy in, but I've also given them that warning that in 18 months, you don't have a job if you don't hop on board now. Because what AI can allow them to do, and back to my training on them on leadership and expanding their beliefs and expanding everything that they want to do with not just work, but with their lives, is it's time for you to just accept it, take it in, go all in on it, and really make you the 10.0 version of yourself by using it. Because I believe that what AI does for us is it expands us. It makes us now that much better at a lot of things once you learn how to use it, not just writing emails or finding cooking recipes based on what you have on in your refrigerator. It like allows you to develop systems and processes and write books and develop web pages and really just and also help with creativity. Like I could keep rambling and go on and on and on. I think what's most important, and I understand you're talking about skills, which is very interesting, by the way. I do have some follow-up questions with that. I think at the end of the day, though, right now, at least, it all boils down to hopping on board and getting on this train ASAP and start learning now as it continues to develop.
It's an interesting, I want to also point out another interesting thought. So here's the thing, AI, so internet, right? So what AI did is scooped up everything that was on the internet, indexed it on the back end, and now regenerates based on that content, right? So internet is not new. It's been around for a long time. So what's going to happen is the people that were utilizing internet, you can learn any type of skill before even AI that by getting on YouTubes and just tons of free material, Googles and forums, so much stuff. But if you have not utilized that when internet was here and now the AI is here, the gap between the social education is going to get so much more widened because these people that have utilized internet, YouTube, that have ability, curiosity was driving them to learn new skills and evolve. Now with AI, guess what's going to happen to their progress? It's not going to be like this. It's going to be like this. It's going to go so high up now. So the people that have not utilized internet, now they have to catch up because now, so that's one of the impacts. And I want everybody to succeed in life. I want to see everyone win, right? And part of the job that I do, yes, I help businesses to save time and automate, but also my educational content that I put on my Instagram, on my LinkedIn, and my YouTube's actually, people that follow me know about the new tools than some of the people that don't follow me, because I try to educate and tell, let's close that gap because a lot of people's position is going to get augmented. So they need to be prepared now. They need to jump on the board now so that that gap for them could be as small as possible. So that's the key here. And that's going to happen not only on a social level, but also economical level, right? People would have noticed this. Think about a very interesting discussion this week, this past weekend with Ivy League professor from Harvard, MIT on AI. Someone has been around for a long time and seen the entire evolution of, let's say, in tech world. And the interesting part that was said about, so let's say people that are get into universities, right? Especially like universities like Ivy League, struggle is part of data identity because it's a different, you have to be different character to achieve or to get into these big schools because it's competition so intense, right? Demand is so intense. It's a different level of pushing your own limits. So guess what? The people that are utilizing, those people that are utilizing AI, their productivity, their output of with AI is going to be just tremendous. But what happens? Again, widening gap. So these people that know how to study, how to focus, how to learn things, how to sit with things, how to solve these problems and push their own limitation, they're going to earn more money. And it's not going to be just a social, it's going to be economical gap as well. This is something I want to stress upon everybody because I'm very curious. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years or 10 years with companies pushing for general intelligence, where machines now, again, right now, machines are solving problems that it would take decades or like years for humans to solve, right? But we still do need human in the loop. So the humans that know how to use this machine to their own advantage are just going to make amazing things in life and going to propel socially and financially. But people that have not utilized internet before AI are going to fall behind even more.
Yeah, that's the thing that I was just again having the conversation is with a web developer and a marketing person that, you know, AI could edit videos, but I still need to have a video editor to clean it up, make sure it looks good, and make sure it's ready to go. I still need to, yeah, AI creates photos. I still need to have somebody who is very good at Photoshop that could make it look better and ultimately put it out there. Like you still need, like I have my, again, I'm going to go back to my admins. Hopefully, I don't know if they watch the show or not, but my admins, which is fine, they, you know, send a lot of follow-up emails and there's templates and stuff that we have and everything like that. And they're not complicated, but there could be a next step because in my business, you have to be a licensed adjuster to really like push a claim to the end and really get it settled and everything. But there is a next level to what you're doing. And it could be more creative writing, more creative emails. Have you asked it how you should respond to particular emails? And it could make your follow-up process now 10x and next level. But I digress. You talked about the economical gap. I think that's very interesting. I think what you mean by that is it just the need for people who know how to use it? Or is it just because, yeah, I guess that's what it is, right? It's going to be eventually the need for people. I'm going to give you an example. I just hired an EA, an executive assistant here locally. I have one also, but she's virtually. I need somebody here in person. And at the end of the interview process, it was 2 interviews. Then I was down to 2 candidates, and I said, okay, I need you guys to do something separately. I need you to do a project for me. I need you to create the checklist for when you come into the office and everything that you need to do, assuming it's just a normal office. I need you to create an SOP on how you're going to check my emails, and I need you to write up an email to an insurance adjuster requesting information. They're like, okay, I'm on it. Can I get it to you by tomorrow? I said, no, I want it ASAP, but I want you to use AI to do it all. And one was completely better than the other. And it goes to show, and I hired the one that was better because it goes to show who is understanding, knows how to use the prompt feature, how to get what they want, and how to be as detailed as possible.
That's exactly that. So basically, not someone that's exactly that. Like someone that, because if you have somebody that's, for example, let's say again, right? If have someone strong educational background, let's say in the same industry, let's say in it has years of experience, the public adjuster, and then someone that does not have that, just kind of general, and you ask both to write the emails. That's probably one of the examples. You see that how different the response is going to be. So same thing. I think If you ask somebody, look at the prompt. So prompt will show how they think, how they solve the problem, what steps did they take, how would they go around explaining what they want. Because somebody could just put out like, write me email that I would ask from insurance adjuster. But somebody, you are this and this. Our problem is to solve this and this. Like there is a structure. Their prompt could be like this much versus someone has very surface level that doesn't know what to ask, just two sentences. And the output would be substantially different.
Man, you just blew my mind. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It does take a bit of a unique thought process to properly prompt it to get the information you need. Now, I do think it's all learnable because I do think that you could totally learn how to do it. I purchased a very simple little course and I learned a lot.
Yeah. So it minimizes the message is clear, minimizes follow backs and multiple communications back and forth. It kind of goes straight to the point. So the person is just, yeah, it helps everybody.
My question was going to be, what do you think separates those who successfully integrate AI from those who struggle with it? And quite frankly, that economic gap, I think, is something that we definitely need to hit home. I love that you're passionate about it and making sure that you're teaching others. And by the way, I'd like to just tell people who are listening or watching the show to go follow Zulfiya's Instagram channel because you've got some really, really cool stuff. What's a recent breakthrough in AI or trend that excites you?
Recent breakthrough. I think everybody's talking about this since 2025, since the beginning. I mean, it's been actually happening last year as well, but everyone is on board with so AI agents, right? Autonomous,
Yep.
virtual employees. And I just want to be honest, again, you need human in the loop. It's not like you can just, I
It's
don't want
okay.
to
It's okay. I understand. I
I
get
don't
what
want
you're
to think
saying.
like, oh, you're gonna have AI now gonna do your job. No, you need to train that. You need to fine tune that model. Basically, that's prepared for executive assistant, but it still there's a lot of things that it still will struggle to do. So there's tons of out there tools to build one, like for example, no code, low code tools, or there's a Python, or there's a Python frameworks more on a technical side, but there's still limitations. But the idea is it still takes care of all that. For example, I have one. I have a Vicky on my phone that I can text and I can ask Vicky, can you send email to Vince? And that I'm, for example, that I would love to be on his podcast. So I could just say that way, and now Vicky is going to go and say like, oh, Vince said this, provide the email. But here's the difference: when people will say, well, I can do this with Siri. What's the difference, right? Here's the thing: Siri would do it word for word, but with AI agent, it would actually build that very nice email. It would say, very nice things. If you want to rush, if you want things done quickly, it's going to go generate really nice response in your tone and your voice. Or for example, if I want drafts right now to be prepared, I have an email that I have drafts already ready to go. So I can go review my drafts and I don't have to go and like write them. So things of those natures, or like schedule a meeting or do some type of research for you and then send you that file in, let's say, Excel sheet, and just asking that, just text messaging, basically the AI agent. So AI agents are the difference between AI agents is something that's it's a large language model that is working autonomously based on the task that you give it to it, and it constantly works in the loop. Meaning, if you ask it to go do the research, so for example, I want to know how many public adjusters are in Boston area. So I can ask right now and text Vicky. She's gonna go say to me, all right, let me take my time and let me go find it. So in the loop, meaning like a human, right? Will go do the research, assess it to see if it's correct or not, if this information is valid. First, it will like assess the intent of this request. Does it follow to something that they have expertise on, or alignment when it comes to the large language model? And it constantly does, like, it retrieves the results. It's basically reviews it, critiques it, and then if there's certain shortfalls, it will send it back, and then basically again be able to make an adjustment and then send it out the output to me. So that's how the AI agents right now, and you probably have heard also like Mark Zuckerberg and the big tech, all of them talking about the new era of AI agents, where every business, they're trying to empower every business that will have their own AI agents. They'll help them to automate their workflows and help them to elevate these manual repetitive tasks. And basically there will be more AI agents than humans. That's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And it's also great because you're just able to get things done. Oh, what I was going to mention is I heard the other day, I think it was on a podcast, that they feel that by the end of the decade, by 2030, there will be a one-person billion-dollar business.
One person billion dollars. You know what? But if you think about this, actually, let's take a look back. Okay, let's look at the 1920s, 1930s. What was happening with the economy? We have Rockefellers, Vanderbilts, right?
Right.
Look what's happening right now. Do you see this history repeats? You have the wealth accumulated, these tech giants, right? That owning basically whole social media, right? Navigating the entire, I mean, you're talking about the voice of the entire nation, and they owning that. So big tech, like I think if you see like this, the history repeats, we have Meta, Tesla, we have big like Nvidia, like that 1%, right, holds so much wealth. So I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah, that would be crazy. That scares people, but that's okay. What's the most common misconception that businesses have when implementing AI?
Misconception is that, okay, one of the biggest thing is AI is good as its user, but also data that you feed into it. So because garbage in, garbage out, right?
Right.
There's a lot. So for example, ChatGPT is very general model. So meaning if you try to trick it, and it might give you the wrong answer because it's there again to make seem it's useful, to make you feel good about the responses. Even like if you ask it to craft the email, right, it comes very polite way, almost like too nice. Nobody talks this way. But here's the thing, and same thing when it comes to like when you try to ask it to do some type of calculations, it might just like hallucinate basically because it's too general. Unless you have a human look like, hey, this math does not seem right. Can you please recalculate it? And most of the time say, oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. Let me check back to you. It happened to me so many times. So you cannot be over reliant. And when you have a large language model that is that general, and then you wanted to use in your business, and let's say you're making some type of financial decision based on that, just blindly, without the human oversight, without your expertise, you can kind of find yourself in a not so favorable situation. So data is important because you can combine that general context with your specific public adjuster data that is specific to your business, that is specific to the clients that you work with, for example, or how you've been doing the price adjustments, how you've been reviewing the claims. So you need to make sure your data is accurate and your data that you can make reliable decisions on. A lot of businesses have multiple data sources that they use. They use data source, let me say, systems that they use. Let's say, they have Slacks and Asanas, and then they have some type of CRM, then they might have some type of claim systems, right? That they could feed the large language model to get insights. But again, making sure, understanding how to unify data in an accurate way, understanding how to clean that data, how to look for outliers so your decisions are not biased is key.
Do you recommend any kind of courses? I mean, like I said, I got one. It was pretty cheap. It's called AI Mastery. Paid $20 and then an extra $20 to get a bunch of prompts. Honestly, it's not great, but I learned something. Do you recommend any kind of courses or anything for people to take? Or I recommend just playing with it as much as possible. But is there anything? I think courses would help.
Sure. So I think one of the things is definitely taking courses is great if you can. The way I look at this is, yes, a lot of courses, tons of it for free. You can take it from Coursera, for example. Even Nvidia has a free courses. Harvard Extension School has very free courses. MIT has free courses, or even Stanford. So try to download. YouTube has so much information on YouTube, right? So I think like prompting would be great because the future, from what I'm hearing, is again, the future is that the next, there's not going to be a technological language, it's going to be human language. So ability to have a conversation with the tool to create you, like you said, website, to create you some type of small app, your own meditation app that you can now do through Coursera, for example, super quick. And then just kind of like prompt it, create a meditation app that you could do so many things that you just wanted to tinker with. But again, prompting is how to write very insightful prompts, learn different types of prompt. I think that will really propel you to get the full benefit of these tools.
So I'd like to also, Zulfiya, and I'm sure this will still be AI related. I think it's interesting what you do, where you really you structure, organize data, and you really help people with their processes and operations and streamlining everything. Which again, I'm sure AI has a big part of it. What are some common operational inefficiencies that you see with businesses? And I'd like to also keep on the AI track. What do you guys do to really help with AI with your company to get people going? Because systems and operations, it's easy. It's easy to imagine, and sometimes it's easy to do and implement, but it's very difficult to actually follow through and have people actually use them.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so much noise out there, right? There's so many apps right now out there. So we automatically, what we help our clients, we've been helping our clients on automation when it comes to reporting, for example. So
Yeah.
again, utilizing all these systems so they don't have to manually click in each system, kind of figure out what their numbers are at. Like for example, Dan, you know how he talks about how he gets his numbers every morning on to know where his business is at. So that's what we built. We build things that will take information from multiple systems. And if you have multiple locations, for example, as well in your business, to kind of give you that snapshot that nobody has to put together anymore. That just comes even on your mobile phone. There's lots of business intelligence tools like Power BI, or if you're Amazon user like QuickSight, they can marry, unify that data on a back end and now give you those analytics so you know where your numbers are at. If you, let's say, are in a claims business, right? How many claims you have processed, for example? And
Like
what's the
50.
uh,
Oh, I thought you were asking. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
tell me.
Like 50 something.
50, okay. Then you probably, so for example, oh, let's use you. In your case, right, do you log into multiple systems to kind of figure out how many claims you're using, what type of nature, what's the payout, or what's the insurance that you need to work with? So just, yeah.
Yeah, we use a CRM called Claim Wizard,
Yeah.
and it gives us a lot of that. It gives us a lot of the data of how many, the dollar amount and estimates that we have, dollar amount of settlements and stuff like that.
Yeah. So let's say, and then what we see our clients, they might use like some other financial system, let's say, as well.
QuickBooks.
Yeah, QuickBooks, for example, is a good one. Or they might also do some type of, I don't know, marketing software as well, where they want to see, and they kind of want to see all in one picture. Kind of see, okay, well, how much money are we getting and who we're getting from, connected to that special, like a CRM or like customer management system. And then what's our marketing effort translating into that customer to get our customer. So we don't have to go individually click in HubSpot, the Salesforce, look that up, then go into claims, look that up, log into QuickBooks Online, look that up. And let's say then you have multiple locations, for example. And then you have to, but you can have one unified dashboard, and then you can literally see, okay, what's over time has been like, how certain facilities doing better than the others. For example, when we work with in healthcare space, they might have different facilities that they are working on, and now they want to see, okay, like how many patients are we seeing at what times, what's our payroll like, nurse per patient, what is our let's say marketing efforts and sales are doing, right? How much, how many patients are they recruiting? Are they profitable? What's our ROI? Kind of all in one, you know? And also see if I want to expand the next clinic, for example, they want to see, okay, what's my overhead versus what's my patient visits like? So you like might join payroll data with your patient recording system, for example, and then see, all right, does it make sense to evolve to expand this clinic, hire more nurses, let's say, or do we need to downsize? And like, what are the busiest times that I need to staff people in, for example? And what about the pricing? What is the highest time for the revenue? How much do we need to pay? Things like that of that kind of nature, basically. And then there's a whole hiring process that you can automate as well, screening people, right? You can use AI to post a job post, from job posting to screening person and then coming to you as well. And then once you onboard the person, now you can use AI as well to onboard it, making sure that this person knows, okay, this is the checklist, the compliance that they have to go through, instead of basically checking in with them and, are you done? Do you have any question? You can literally create AI HR agent that's going to be like, hi, welcome. Welcome to how, like, hold their hand. Hey, how do I fill out W-9, for example, or double like these tax forms to make, or W-4, I think that's the one where you have to take the tax exemptions when you start a job. So instead of them like reaching out to the manager, they can ask the chatbot and then can explain it to them what each field means or stuff like that. That's like kind of unique to the compliance of that organization that they can now have someone to help them instead of. And then another key thing, you can also like show the progress, right? If instead of checking in with this person saying where they are at, you can also get kind of progress status. Okay, this person is like 70% out of the way, or 80, they stuck here, or they need help here. So kind of, and the new persons get onboarded does not feel like they left no man's land. They have a tool that's helping them to guide them through and explaining and sometimes even simplifying these terms for them to help them like fill out the tax form, for example, you know?
Also, not just for business operations and behind backstage, you're talking about front stage as well, like with the actual customer experience.
So exactly, you can do with custom experience as well. Again, you can have, for example, voice enabled. Let's say you have high volume center, right? And you don't want to lose people right now. I'll tell you something. Outbound does not work that well. I talk to a lot of people. They say AI call me, I just drop the call. Like nobody wants to talk to AI.
Right.
It's just the true reality of it. They like, I want to talk to a human. But for inbound calls, let's say you have high volume center and you just don't want to lose that lead, you can be very upfront with a disclaimer, and say like, oh, happy to thank you for calling. Can I gather your information? I'll get back to you. So the persons are heard and persons are you catching that business, for example, or have a chatbot that now, here's the one thing that I really want to point out. If you're running a business and you don't have a chatbot that's sitting on your website, you're missing out. Because what? Why would you miss out? First of all, right now everybody's getting used to speed. I see that in my industry as well. Everyone solutions like this quick. People that come in, they want Amazon speed, right? They probably, if you're running short-term rental, for example, or some type of a customer experience, you want to catch the person and be able to answer that question and also have a log of those answers. Why do you need the log? Not only to audit if your large language model is hallucinating and providing a wrong answer, if it's stepping off their basically rails and going, but also collecting that and cross-selling your product. What is your people telling? What type of product they're more interested in? What is their feedback about the product, right? What is sentiment around? So you can basically fine tune, and now you can even be more profitable by producing a thing that your clients want. Maybe you uncovered some niche thing that you have not thought of, for example.
Well, you mentioned here that you embrace speed over perfection.
Yes.
Tell me about that. That's interesting.
Yes, I would love to. And I want to actually bring up ChatGPT for the example.
Okay.
Was listening, I was reading this very interesting article. So I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
When you think of AI, what tool are you thinking right now?
Tool like ChatGPT?
Perfect. So this is the answer to my question. So what happened in 2022, OpenAI came out with their first GPT model. Guess what? OpenAI is not the only provider, right, of large language models. You have Google, they have Gemini, every week they come up with the stronger models. They also have Google AI Studio. You can try all of their reasoning and problem solving, complex models. But guess what? Nobody associating AI with them. So what happened? What was the difference there? When OpenAI released they were the first ones to release their product to the masses. It was not perfect. They had a great UI and they let people start playing with it. Okay, here's our AI, here's GPT, go play with it. But Google has been working on it as well for years. I mean, they've been working on AI for 10 years, right? However, they only released large language model only for developers and enterprises, companies. So they did not release it to the you and I, like let's say regular users, because they wanted to make sure it is safe, it is proven. They did not want to hurt the brand. If it's hallucinating, they didn't want it to be exposed to the masses, and now it hurts the brand because they didn't want to lose the trust. But in the meantime, again, what ChatGPT did is they earned the people's kind of like they started they introduce it to the masses. People start to become comfortable with tool. And how do we make buying decisions? Sometimes we don't make the buying decisions based on what's the technical capabilities of this product, right? Right? We make it based on our emotions. How does it make us feel? And then we try to reason with ourselves. It's like, all right, we bought it because it's going to help us X, Y, Z. But no, we buy it because it made us feel familiar, secured, helped us. It's just something we know. So my point is, and as you can see right now, ChatGPT evolved into, right now there's a new model 4.5 right now that's only available.
I'm using it already.
Yes, I am using it as well. Actually, I have one video I was testing it around. So yeah, so see what I'm trying to say? So it earned, have you ever played with Google large language models?
Yeah, I have it on. I used it. I use it a little bit. I don't like it as much.
So what I'm saying, so answering back to your question, perfection over, because if sometimes.
Oh, speed. Oh, because you're saying that because ChatGPT was the first, people kind of like it better.
Exactly. And then you reiterate, right? You constantly reiterate. Otherwise, what happens is if you like constantly give over perfection, you never might release anything. And Dan Martell talks about this perfectly. 80% better than, right?
That's what he said,
80%, you take 80% day in, day out over perfection, over 100%. Because that 80% is going to get you out there. You're going to get feedback faster. You're going to be able to reiterate. And then basically the whole process, right? Evolution of our whole entrepreneurship is you release something out, you take the feedback, you reiterate. You like constantly improve. But if you're gonna sit there and hold, and then oh shoot, we missed the bus, like it's already like it's gone, so you're late to the party. So the idea is to get it out there, started having people like playing with it, and same thing, like, and it's evolving, and then each time it's going to be a better version of it. So
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
I'm about.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I agree. I mean, well, I mean, it's entrepreneurship, right? Like it's trying stuff out and failing and trying stuff out and failing and trying stuff out and failing and fixing it and doing it better and then failing again and then trying something else and just, that's like the never-ending cycle of entrepreneurship, I feel.
Yeah, and I feel like the faster you fail, and the same thing when it comes to learning with AI, right? If you're gonna like, don't wait for me, oh, I'm gonna finish my course and then I'm gonna start playing with it. No, like take the course, start playing with it, use it in your job, and learn as you go. That's the motto.
I call it reps. You got to get reps in. There's a guy in my networking group. He is just keeps begging for business, and he's like, they're not coming in. They're not coming. And I go to a social media account, and like it's like a ghost town. His social media, nothing there. I'm like, well, you got to start posting. So fast forward like a month, and he comes to me, and he's just like, oh yeah, still trying to get business. I'm like, want me to look at your Instagram? He's like, no, I haven't started yet because of this, and that. And this guy's going to help me with the video editing. And this guy's going to do that. I'm like, dude, like just turn your freaking camera and just like start. Like you cannot wait just post. And he's like, but I'm not good at it yet. I'm like, it's reps. You're going to be garbage. The first 3 months are going to be awful and nobody's going to want to watch, but you got to get it in every single day. And eventually it starts getting better and you start feeling more comfortable and then you start generating leads.
That's awesome, and that's a great advice. I started the whole point. I started Dan's in March of last year. I had nothing on my Instagram as well.
And your Instagram is great, by the way.
Thank you. And sometimes I take those. I will have little kids, and I take those videos at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not joking. When the kids are sleeping, just because you gotta get it in. It's just part of like, no excuses. You have to get out there and yeah, sometimes I also have through like, oh, it's not good enough because like so much out there. Like, what do I? But I'm not. Nope. Let's get it out there. If I find it interesting, other people. If I find it helpful, other people might find it helpful. And like reps, right? You get better and better. So you need to start. And that's perfect. Yeah.
You're an operations person, you're a systems and operations person. As AI continues to evolve, how do you see business operations changing over the next 5 years? And what should we do as owners or entrepreneurs, as businesses do to stay ahead?
Absolutely. You stay ahead is, first of all, time audit, right? You need to look at your time audit and constantly, if you're doing something in Excel, if you do any type of, let's start from there. If you do any type of reporting in Excel where you download multiple reports and you're running VLOOKUP or pivot tables or anything like that, stop there. There is a better way of doing this. There is automations out there that you could just build it once. Now it's living, and that's what we do for our clients. Basically, we get them out from the Excels. They get out, come in, and they do more analytical work now that they analyze the information they get out of it. So that's one. As a business owner, you also need to look at repetitive tasks that you do and start delegating them and start automating it. There's a repetitive track record that you can see, like hiring somebody, right? Going through posting, like these posts, and also screening, for example, screening. Again, you have a process, I'm sure outlined somewhere, SOPs, or even you don't have the SOP, a standard operation procedure. Literally get on a call in Loom, record yourself doing this, you get a transcript, feed it into AI, you have the process right there. So then you can build AI agent around it. It's going to go post that, and then basically we'll be able to even, let's say, fine, not post it, but each step could be incremented, could be delegated. So if you can shave off 10%, 20%, don't look again perfect. I see people that we work with, if they're happy with us, if we can solve them 20%, great, they're happy with that. 20% of workload is solved, they don't have to do it anymore, it's gone, awesome. But then it goes up and up and up, because each time they're like, oh, what else can I do? What else is possible? We have been working with legacy clients since many years now. And it's because we automated one thing. And then after that, the light bulbs start coming off and they're like, oh, this could go out. Like we have projects that we've done that before it would take somebody every week to do 4.5 hours. Now zero. Nobody has to put this together. I mean, zero. Every week, 4.5 hours of your day was gone to prepare a 17-page Excel file. Now nobody's doing that anymore. And they found a bunch of other work that they can have this person do, for example, instead of sitting there and putting together something in Excel that takes them 4.5 hours a week, and then probably has lots of mistakes. And by the time they put that data is outdated. So again, I feel like all of us, and what I see with entrepreneurship and business owners, they're constantly strapped for time, right? We constantly like, oh, we're falling behind. Like this is not done. This is not done. Like it's always delegating and like late nights. So if we can cut those hours, that would be fantastic. So like staying open and making the log of those repetitive tasks and finding solutions. Okay, well, this looks like is great for pattern matching. That's what AI is best for, pattern matching. If there's a definite workflow here, automate and move on to something else because creativity needs space.
I love that's what I'm trying to get into, is the automation part. Is definitely trying to get, do you use, I mean, is that like a Zapier thing that's used in order to connect? Is that what you use? There's a couple of other ones too, right?
Oh, tons. Zapier, NN8, there's Cassidy. There's so many things actually out there. But
Is there one that you lean towards, that you recommend to use more than others?
So what we do for our clients is, depending on what the solution is, if there is like a quick solution for no-code tools, however, what we have noticed, we are a team of data scientists and data engineers. So again, these no-code tools are great, but you do need a programmer that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, that's my next thing that I want to try to attack and learn a little bit, but yeah, it's a little daunting. I want to at least connect my Gmail and my calendar and the CRM and see where that goes. But yeah, I want to make sure I do it right.
For example, right now I have Gmail, right, connected to, for example, right now you can do Zaps or NN8, and then you can connect your Gmail, and now you can have drafts sitting in there. However, you need to understand how to do it, because Zappers and then NN8s are great. They are great for quick thing, but sometimes there might be some integration problems that you need a Python coding for example, just to make sure you get the full-blown access for it. Depending on the problem that we're trying to solve, like for example, for that one would be, yeah, you can try an innate, but also with someone that knows Python, someone who could understand data exactly. That's another point. And I don't want to and a lot of people might say, oh, there's so many YouTubers out there that are doing these tutorials for NN8. But here's the thing: if you tried to do one of them, and I've done for the fun part of it, here's what happens: they cut out the part that does the coding of it somehow. So they kind of simplify it, but when you actually start building it, you realize that, okay, you need some programming here. You need to know what you're doing here. You can't just pick it up and do this in one day, because you're going to hit a roadblock.
Right. I've been looking for somebody on Fiverr or something like that to help me set it up or something, because yeah, I know that I can't do it myself.
Yes, exactly. So you just need to make sure what data you're exposing, right? When they're building it, that they're not accidentally sending, for example, if you want to draft on your emails, you want to make sure that you are not, when they're playing with it, they're not sending accidentally spamming. Like, for example, now that AI agent is going to go and send all these emails to everyone. So there's testing basically needed. Right. And I would say another thing is, it's great that you're doing it. This is awesome.
What's the difference then between that and I did have a question, a technical question, if it's okay.
Yeah, tell me.
We got a few minutes left, but what's the difference between me? I like to create these projects now on ChatGPT and give it the instructions that I want, and it's just been helping me a lot. Like, wow, it's been great because it already knows what to do. But what's the difference between that and creating a GPT?
Okay, so create the difference between you mean
Creating a project with specific instructions,
uh-huh.
and then or creating a GPT.
GPT, like for example, is AI assistant, right?
Is that what that is? Yeah, I've created a GPT before of a coaching framework that I put the topic in and it sort of does everything for me. That's basically what the
Ah,
GPT does, right?
gotcha. When you say GPT, did you go like say create new GPT and then you have instruction
Yeah.
open and then when you type in and then you can also attach the files as well in there?
Well, that's a project, I think. That's not a GPT. I think what is a GPT? Like I not that I'm sure we can go down a huge rabbit hole here, but
That's fine. No,
um
no.
'cause
This is a good question.
I know that there's obviously Chat GPT, but then when you go into the GPTs, you have the opportunity to create a new GPT. So, like, for example, would I create a GPT to like be a chef and help with dinner recipes? Or would I create a GPT, because I know I could just use Chat GPT for that? Or would I create a GPT to develop like an entire operating system, not an operating system, but maybe like an operations team that develops all my SOPs?
So I think when you do GPT, it has a context now because you can attach the files of your prior work. For example, the last one that you said, like for example, this is you give the instructions, you attach the files for it to know to kind of have a little bit more of narrow-minded approach of like specific to your business. And
Mhm.
now you don't have to prompt it each time. You can just like for example, attach the file or depending, for example, I have one that does like discovery sales for me. So every time when I build it up and I go and I kind of type in the company that I'm going to have a conversation with, like information about them, and that's it. And now it kind of preps for me. So it does this research for me and kind of helps me to ask those questions that I would need to know during the call, for example. And
Huh.
I prepped it by attaching the um, prior conversation, like or prior questions that I've asked to kind of so to put the framework in, to put the frame of the conversation in. So that's the difference. But they so I want to take a step back. This is like so GPT with Chat GPT, right? You got the AI assistant, you push a button and it gives you so you don't have to constantly prompt it, constantly tell it what it is and what tone, how should it come back to you so you don't have one-shot prompting going on there. So that's helpful. When you have AI agents, is that now it's entirely different thing. Now it's not a chatbot, it's like autonomously you create a digital tool that's going to be basically going executing those things just with you.
Yeah, that I got. That I got.
Yeah, that one. And then you said also about the project, right? New project.
Yeah, so have you seen the projects feature with
Yes, I have seen.
ChatGPT?
Yes.
I don't see a huge difference between that and creating a new GPT.
Yes, yes, me too, because new project is also right, saved it, and then I think
Instructions.
instructions, and you can go back to it and you can
Yep.
narrate it, you can make changes, you can also have ability to edit it, right? Edit some piece of it, not just hold the output. I think that's very useful. It's just different ways, I guess, with working with. I don't really see the big difference on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I love it. Like we have claims, right? So like if Zulfiya has a claim and we're representing her, I will put your name into the project of claims, and it's got instructions as you're an expert insurance adjuster with a lot of experience, and you also know contracting, and and you're an expert negotiator and all these things. And then now I have you as one. I like to keep each client as an individual chat because I'll upload separate documents so it learns that client, and it's been working like.
Yes, and I think one more, I think I know, I want to say the difference now. Okay, so the difference is that now that new project is specific to me, for example, right? To that individual. So you can have like multiple individual projects versus with GPT, it's like it's
I'm treating
regenerate.
it, but I'm treating it like a GPT. So
I
like,
see.
yeah, so what I got is I have the project is claims,
Yeah,
and then I have individual chats under that project as the individual claims.
gotcha. But you can always go back to it that it will save that context. With
Yeah.
the GPT will not save that context, right? Because each time you have to prompt it. But new
Uh,
project, it will save it so you can go back to it and
yeah.
like reiterate on it. That's the difference.
I love it. I love it. Zulfia, tell me more about how people can get to you, can contact you. Like I said, you have to follow Zulfia on Instagram, also on LinkedIn. I know that you have here, all they have people have to do is message you beyond, and you could help them set everything up and do what they have to do.
Absolutely, I would love to. So if you can find me at Zulfia Forsythe, either on Instagram or LinkedIn, and you can just message beyond that. I know you're coming from Vince Perry. Would love to help you. Would love to do some type of maybe a audit where we figure out what processes and workflows that you have that need to be automated and how we can help you with AI agents that we're building right now.
Well, it says here if they message you beyond, you will send them an AI assistant that they can build themselves today.
So I will send them AI assistant like GPT. I have a recording, for example, step by step on how they can create their own GPT to help them start like right away.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, Zulfia, thank you so much for coming on. That was a wealth of information that you provided us there. I really, really appreciate your time. I know you're super, super busy building your team over here and watching them grow. I'm very excited for you and your future. I think you're going to do amazing. And I hope that we could continue to really build this relationship here. I would really appreciate that.
Thank you, Vince, so much for having me.
All right, Zulfia, thank you.